Welcome back to another episode of Walk Off Wednesday, joined as always with Coach O'Brien. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
It's a fun episode this week as we actually get to talk about some baseball games. I know the last couple episodes we talked about your trips that happened a while ago, and we jump kind of right into conference action in Northwestern. So if you kind of want to start with that Friday afternoon, late afternoon game at Northwestern.
Yeah, so in those games, it was an interesting week for us because those weekend games got moved into the next week. So we actually played Northwestern on Tuesday and Wednesday at Northwestern. So we played 6 conference games in 5 days, and all 9-inning games. But yeah, that first day, Tuesday, it's every time you have the first game of the series, you're kind of facing somebody's best, and you're going out there and I thought, that day their pitcher was really good, and Northwestern's got a really good starting rotation, and he did a really good job kind of establishing kind of a rhythm and pace of the game, and it just kind of felt like, we scored, and we're up kind of back and forth a little bit, but a 6-2 game after 4, but it felt like we were down by a lot more, and we just kind of wore that one a little bit rougher, losing that kickoff to the series. But yeah, then we had the opportunity to bounce back.
Yeah, and like you said, I had my days mixed up there. But yeah, Tuesday with tough loss on a pitcher that goes complete game against you guys. And then what's kind of your mindset going into those next 2 games and how you guys are able to bounce back?
Yeah, so obviously we stayed overnight, so we had the opportunity then to kind of go over that game, and we met as a team in the hotel lobby, and I thought we had a pretty good discussion, and kind of challenged the guys a little bit, and I think the guys did a really good job responding, playing for each other that next day. And I thought that next day, we got two big wins against 2 tough pitchers, and I thought that might have been arguably 2 of the best energy, enthusiastic games that I've ever been a part of in our program. Our guys really wanted those 2 games, and they showed it.
Yeah, and that's 2 huge conference wins on the road and to win the series. So who kind of stood out for you players-wise in those 3 games?
Yeah, I think, you see the type of games that we played, and they were low scoring. We talked about it. It was going to be kind of pitching and defense into that weekend. And, that game 2, the game we needed, going against another really big arm in our conference, and Parker Gilchrist came out for us. And, he went into the 8th inning. I think he gave up only 1 earned run, but he just was outstanding. The following game, Josh Ostin gave us 8 innings, same type of thing, 1-run baseball. And we only had to use 2 pitchers the whole day on Saturday, where Brady Kenning came in relief in both those games and picked up 2 saves, I believe. So that was really big, especially, when you're going to go into another series of 3 games just a couple days later. Offensively, I thought we did a really good job facing against two really good pitchers with just timely hitting and manufacturing runs where we needed to. And some of those similar guys, I think that we've seen. Ryan McGee had a pretty good day. Ty Beasley came up and got a couple guys in when we needed to too.
Yeah, for sure. So going 2-1 in that first series, awesome, and then that kind of sets up a Friday, Saturday first home action at Chiswick Field on Friday, Saturday against Northland, and it was a fun weekend to follow if you like offense and stuff like that. So it was fun to watch. So kind of going into that Friday against Northland, what was that like?
Yeah, I think everybody's excited. To be able to play at home this early is a big deal. We had 1 home game all of last year, so to be able to play at Chiswick Field where our guys, want to be, where our fans are, things like that, it was really exciting. And we had a great day. Chiswick, always a little bit of a smaller field, so kind of going into those games that, you got to throw strikes as a pitcher, and defensively you got to make plays. And, I give Northland a lot of credit. I thought they came out and they took advantage of some, walks and, an error or 2 here and there. And the tough part then is in a smaller ballpark, 1 swing of the bat, right, can change a game. And so I think, they had, a couple just 3-run grand slam, swings for 7 runs and 2 swings. And you're in now a really tight game, right? And I think our hitters did a pretty good job that game of kind of answering back. But, when you're playing that style of a game, you need a little bit more. And so I thought we could have done obviously a better job on the mound and defensively. And offensively, even though we scored 10 runs, I think we left 13 guys on base. So it was kind of similar in how we felt, I think, with that first game in the Northwestern series. But it allowed us, again, another opportunity the next day to win a series, right, and start fresh.
Yeah. And like you said, similar to that Northwestern series, you bounce back Saturday with 2 big games, and you're able to come back with 2 wins. So how did that go? And then I think the second game, was it 28-17? And I told my wife, we were driving home from something, and I'm like, 28-17, the Cougs. And she's like, the football team's playing? I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's the Cougs baseball.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was an interesting day at the ballpark. We had 20 to 30 mile an hour wind on a small field. Umpire was a little bit smaller zone too, so you factor, it was all set for an offensive day. And I thought our offense was incredible, and I think you look at it, I think we scored like 56 runs or something like that in 2 games, which, wow. We were at the ballpark from 11 a.m. getting ready, and I think we left the ballpark at 9 p.m., right? So it was a long day. I think we probably would have wanted to be a little bit better, from a, defensive and pitching standpoint. But there were definitely some really good things in those games from a couple pitchers stepped up. And again, like I said, the win was difficult. So it wasn't like plays were easy to be made. And I thought offensively we were very, very good, and it shows in just how many runs we put up.
Yeah, and when you score a bunch of runs like that, who are some guys that had some big games for you?
Well, I'm glad you bring that up, Taylor, because normally I don't have to do this, but, we had quite the offensive outburst. And so some guys just, Mason Rapp, if you're listening, this is your stats here, but, Ashton Pauley just in the week here, going back to that, was 10 for 20. Okay, so he batted 500, 10 hits, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, 11 walks, 2 hit by pitches. He scored 13 runs, right? Ben Muser, he had a double, 3 home runs, 14 RBI. He walked 6 times, was hit by a pitch. James Nelson, who you're going to hear from today, double, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, 4 HBPs. He scored 10 runs. Ryan McGee, who was just named UMAC Player of the Week, 14 for 29 this week, 3 doubles, triple, 2 home runs, 11 RBI. He scored 8 runs. And then lastly, like Landon Meyerdirk hit 3 home runs, right? 10 RBI. So as you can see, we had a really big offensive outburst, and that is fun to watch for sure.
Yes, yeah, that's super fun, and the scoreboard was definitely busy. So, and lastly, looking into this next week, you have some games coming up against St. John's on Wednesday, and another conference matchup against Martin Luther. What are you kind of expecting going into those?
Yeah, so it was nice, I think, for the guys to get, a day off here and just kind of, a couple days off actually, and just kind of relax and, from baseball. And now going into St. John's, I mean, a MIAC opponent that's got a long history of success. They're going to be very good. So it's a good opportunity too for us to, get some other guys some opportunities too, but like play a really quality opponent leading up to, another conference series. And going with Martin Luther, we play them at home again. It's going to be a fun weekend. Weather looks really good. Friday will be fun because we're playing like an early game, and then the high school team's actually playing after us. So it's kind of a Morris baseball day. So come out to the ballparks if you can. And then, it's another opportunity for us with a weekend series. So you get 3 games here. I think our guys have done a great job winning each series, right? So we played Northwestern. We took 2 out of 3, won a series. You played Northland. Obviously we would have liked to have that 3rd game, but we took 2 of 3, right? And so each series, that's the big thing, is you want to go out and you want to win every series you play in. And so far our guys have done that, and I think this weekend brings another opportunity to do so. And I think we're playing at a really high level. Our guys are confident. It just keeps coming down to executing what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach, and we'll be right back with some more Walk-Off Wednesday. Welcome back to Walk-Off Wednesday. We are now joined with player James Nelson. James, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, yeah.
James, so you are a transfer from Centralia, did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Washington. What's that kind of transition been like for you going from there to Morris, Minnesota?
Most definitely. So the transition has been pretty simple. Centralia itself is also a smaller town just like Morris, not the entertainment capital of the world, but still enough to do. So the overall atmosphere and transition was fairly simple just because 2 small towns, it's just simple living. So,
yes,
yeah.
and coming in like a newcomer to a team and not just like coming from high school but a different college, how was that just kind of jumping right in with the guys and fitting in?
Yeah, so I was able to jump in right away and kind of take on a leadership role with the team, kind of just because I have experience playing college baseball compared to some other guys who are younger freshmen or guys who have just not played a whole lot. So I had experience coming in, and I was able to express that vocally with the teammates and coaches around me and be able to just support them through my leadership, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you're batting second in the lineup, right behind Paulie, who is top 10 in the country and on base. And I know the guys batting behind you are ranked super high in some categories too, in RBIs and some home runs. So what is that like, being in that spot and just kind of delivering for your guys?
Yeah, so definitely. So having Paulie in front of me, I know he's always going to go out there and have a long quality at bat. And obviously from a leadoff guy, that's really what you look for. And then with the guy behind me and Ben Muser, I know the more guys that are on base, the more RBIs he's going to have, because this season especially, he hasn't been striking out a whole lot. It's been putting ball in play and putting balls in gaps. So the big thing for me with my approach being in between those two is I'm going to try and see a lot of pitches so Muser ends up getting a mistake that he can drive and end up scoring Paulie and I.
No, that's awesome, for sure. So, and Coach kind of mentioned it, you guys showed up at 10 or 11 a.m. on Saturday for a long day and getting done at 9 p.m. So what's that like as a player when you're out on the diamond for that long?
Yeah, most definitely. As a player, like, these are the things you prepare for, right? So the big thing that I could think about the whole time was going back to the fall. Every year since Coach O'Brien has been here, we've done a big challenge where it's definitely not easy. It's 4 days of basically physical pain, if you want to call it that. So really everything's pretty much easy when you look at it to that situation. So honestly, yeah, it was a long day of baseball, but we were prepared for it for sure. And the mental side of it, everybody knows that the challenge we did was harder than what we were doing out on the field. So mentally, everyone was still super locked in and ready to go.
Yeah, that was a lot of runs too. So when you score a ton of runs on Friday and Saturday combined, you have players that have big games. So you have any teammates you want to give some shout outs to that had some good performances?
Yeah, the big one that jumps out to me is definitely Josh Ostin. He's consistently gone out there and filled up the zone and created swings, and not only creating swings, but creating weak contact as well. So that's a big thing. We always know what we're going to get out of him. And then another one that really jumped off the table for me was with the Northwestern series that we had earlier in the week was Blake Imhoff. His approach, you can tell it really trickled down from what he's learned from his youth levels all the way up to the college level. His game really translates well here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, James. We'll be right back with some more Walk Off Wednesday. Welcome back to Walk Off Wednesday. We are now joined with Jacob Tobritzhofer. Thanks for joining us, Jacob.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Jacob. So starting this last weekend, you have your first home game at Chiswick Field. And first in your career also. So what's kind of your mindset going into that game and how excited are you?
I'm very excited. It's good to be home. I know they only played one home game last year, so like Coach OB said, playing this early at Chiswick's kind of fun, good environment. And especially when you're on the mound, knowing that all those people behind the stands and in the stands and on top of the dugout are cheering for you. And it gets loud, especially when other sports teams show up to your games as well.
Yeah, and it was a unique, probably home opener too, as Chiswick's a little smaller and the wind was pretty crazy blowing out and kind of some tough circumstances for pitchers coming in. And you come in and go 3 2/3, allowing only 2 hits and 3 runs while striking out 5. So what do you contribute to your success when you're on the mound out there?
I think most of it was just kind of a confidence standpoint. I didn't really have the best outings down in California and Florida. Yeah, California, Florida. So kind of just going up there, trusting myself, pound the zone, and get outs was kind of the big thing for me. And especially with outfielders, they had a lot of fly balls out there. So thanks to Tyler Moriarty and Landon Meyerdirk for catching them.
Yeah. So when you're pitching out there and you know the wind is going crazy, when the ball gets in the air, who knows where it's going? Does that kind of change your approach at all, or are you just going out there firing like normal?
Just kind of go out there, fill the zone up. It's kind of the main thing. Get outs, especially, yeah.
For sure. So you've been brought up quite a bit in past episodes, right, of players that most likely, I think you've been voted most likely to get lost in the airport, least likely they want you to drive while you're down in Florida, the team van, and worst cook. So we kind of brought you on. You had a great performance pitching, but also you can kind of defend yourself a little bit on those votes. So what do you have to say about that?
That's crazy. I got my answers for those questions though.
Okay, so you're gonna give it back here. All right, so let's start with most likely to get lost in an airport.
I'm gonna have to say Trevor Mong, because he just don't know what he's doing most of the time, where he's at. So I'm gonna say him.
We'll go with that one. And then worst cook on the team.
I got two answers for this, kind of 1A, 1B. 1A is gonna be Trevor Haberman, because he burns cookies and microwaves in the dorm rooms. Oh, wow. And I'm also going to say myself because I can't cook.
Oh, so they were right.
Yeah,
then.
they were right about that.
Okay, you don't even have a rebuttal.
Yeah.
Okay. They said something about a pizza. Did you burn a pizza or what happened there?
I didn't burn the pizza. It's just the bottom of the dough part didn't get cooked. So it was very doughy pizza.
Okay, that's tough. And then the last one is last option to drive a van when you guys are down in Florida.
I'm going to have to go with my roommate, Fred Hubner. I've driven with him multiple times back to the cities and home and then back up here. And it's been scared for my life a couple times, but yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Jacob, and best of luck this week.
Thank you.
And that's all we have for Walk Off Wednesday. Thank you.